Hi, and welcome to Crafts with Ash DIY and Decor. My name's Ashley, and today I'm bringing you a compilation video of my favorite Christmas DIYs from 2023. We have a wide variety of different crafts, so I know you're going to find something that you love. Before we get started, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications so you're notified anytime I upload a new video. For my first DIY, I started off with this wooden tree, of course from the Dollar Tree. Now I am going to fill the hole with this new hack that I learned, and all you do is just put your piece on like wax paper or something that would not stick, and you just simply fill the hole with hot glue and let it set up. Next, I'm going to take this apple barrel paint called Territorial Beige, and I just feel like this is the perfect gingerbread color. Once I gave that 2 coats, I put that aside, and I had this extra block left over from a DIY in another video, so I'm going to go ahead and paint that with the same color. After everything is dry, I'm going to take my puffy paint, and this is where the fun begins. Now, I am looking at a photo from the original piece on the Kirkland's website, but I just kind of got creative with it and made my own designs and just painted it and just made it my own. After I had all of my designs puffy painted on, I went ahead and took this white glitter that I got from Hobby Lobby, and I sprinkled it all over my big gingerbread tree. How delicious does this look? I mean, honestly, wait, it's not even done yet. So I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle this all over the tree. And then I'm going to turn the little block on its side so the skinnier side is facing up, and I'm going to add some puffy paint to the bottom to look like melted snow, and then I'm going to add some glitter on that as well. This little piece right here is going to be the base for our tree so our tree can stand. So this is where I think this piece absolutely comes to life. I took a small paintbrush, dipped it in some Mod Podge, and I'm just painting around all of my designs, and of course I'm going to sprinkle some glitter. And I loved how this came out. This is probably one of my favorite DIYs in this entire video, and it is so gorgeous. Now, I do a gingerbread themed kitchen for Christmas every year, so this will go perfect in my kitchen this year, and I cannot wait to put it out. So you just take that glitter and you just sprinkle it everywhere to make it look like a delectable gingerbread cookie tree. Next, I'm going to put a generous amount of hot glue at the bottom of my tree and then stand it up on the top of that base. I am going to hold it there until the glue mostly sets up, and then I am going to add some glue to the front. Now, to hide that glue, I'm going to take my puffy paint once the glue dries, and I'm going to cover it up to make it look like snow, and then again, I am going to go in with the glitter. Now, at this point, I just kind of added like snow or puffy paint and glitter as I just kind of saw fit, or I would maybe dip my paintbrush into the Mod Podge and just painted some more Mod Podge over it, added some glitter. So this is totally up to you how much glitter you want or you don't want. But I'm telling you, the glitter is what brought this whole piece to life. Now, I did go ahead and add a tumbling tower block to the back just for some extra support. And then I added some glitter to the back as well because why not? You know, it's glitter. So after that, I went ahead and added some designs to the sides of my base, just basically dressing my base up a little bit. Like I said, love how this came out. It was one of my favorites. It's so funny that my 2 favorites in this video all revolve around glitter. Huh. Interesting. Anyways, after everything was dry, that's it. That completes my Christmas tree cookie. Here's the one from Kirkland's, $50, $49.99. And here is mine. the next dupe, I'm going to take 2 books that I got from the Dollar Tree. You want to make sure that they are 2 different sizes, one bigger, one smaller. I took the covers off of both books. We are going to cover these with fabric. Now, I made this a little harder on myself because I got this tree skirt from the Dollar Tree because I really liked that red and black check. It's not just one full piece of fabric. So I kind of had to be creative with this and lay it out in a way that it would cover the top of my book. Once I got it all laid out, I'm going to take a marker and I'm just going to trace around it, and then I'm going to cut it out. Now, first I started cutting out on the line that I traced, but you actually want to cut out a little bigger than what you traced because you need some extra fabric to fold over to glue on the inside of the book. Once you have your piece cut out, you're going to lay it out and then start gluing it to the inside of the book. And when you do this, you want to pull the fabric taut so that way it's stretched out over the cover of your book. So as I'm gluing my fabric down, I am just taking some scissors and trimming it up a bit just to kind of clean it up. And I am making sure that the fabric covers the top cover of my book. So I want to take an opportunity and welcome you to my YouTube channel. My name's Ashley and I am so happy that you clicked on my video today. If you love all things DIY, you have come to the right place. We are entering into a busy season, obviously, with holiday and Christmas crafting and gift ideas and just some fun content coming up. So if you love what you see so far, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Also hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications so you are notified about any videos that I post. So I did end up cutting off the little fur part of that tree skirt. However, as you can see, it kind of created like a curve and then also then did not go over the back of the book, the binding. We are going to fix that in just a moment. I'm just kind of going through and cleaning it up and trying to figure out how I'm going to fix that. But we are going to put that aside for now and we will come back to it. So I'm going to set that book aside and I'm going to take the smaller book. And for this, I thought that I would use this really pretty stocking. Now, I am planning on putting this book stack in my bedroom, and for Christmas, I do decorate it in the little red truck theme. The great thing about this DIY is you can use any fabric you like. Dollar Tree did not have fabric pieces per se, so I just kind of went around and looked at the fabric that I could use or take from. So they had stockings, they had placemats, they have napkins, they have kitchen towels. So there really was a lot of fabric to choose from if you just think a little differently and get creative. So what I'm going to do is actually cut this in half. I'm going to separate the front part of the stocking from the back. And then I'm going to lay out the stocking over the top of my book so that way I could tell where I was going to glue it. Then again, once I had my book laid out on my fabric, I'm going to take my permanent marker and just kind of draw some lines so I know where to cut around. And again, I am going to cut longer than what I need or bigger than what I need. Now, I did end up cutting off the top of the stocking because I am not going to need it, but hey, that's good fabric that I can use in the future. And then I'm going to cut down my stocking so it fits over my book cover. Next, I'm going to lay the cover out on the back of the fabric and I'm going to hot glue it to the inside. Now again, you want to pull it taut so that way it stretches over the book cover. Now because there was a design on this, I wanted to make sure to get as much as the truck as I could on the cover. Not all of it fit, but the majority of it did. So I was just kind of pulling and tugging and just making sure that the front part of my book was covered. Now, this stocking actually had enough fabric for me to go around the back of the binding. I'm not even going to worry about the bottoms of these books because you are not going to see them. So I'm not going to waste fabric or anything covering the bottoms. But again, I'm just going to hot glue the back of the fabric to the binding. After my fabric is completely glued down, I am going to go around and just trim up on the edges and just clean it up a bit. But basically your goal here is just to cover the front part of your book with whatever fabric you choose. So once that book is covered, we are actually going to jump to the second book, or the original book, and I am going to use the part that I just cut off of that red truck stocking. It's felt, so I thought, oh, I'm just going to cover, the remainder of that other book. So what I wanted to do first, though, is hot glue the edge up a little bit to make it a nice clean edge, and then I'm going to hot glue it down to the back side. Now this is the binding of this original book that we covered. Now again, this really is not going to be seen, so I'm not too worried about it, but I did want to clean it up just a little bit. And again, if you have a full piece of fabric, you will not have to do this part, but because I like to make things harder, and I chose that tree skirt, which had a big hole in it, and it was like a curve, like a circle. I had to kind of, figure it out as I went and just kind of take from pieces here and there. So I am just taking this red felt fabric and I am just going to, again, pull it taut, pull it tight, and I'm just going to glue it down. Now, again, the underneath, the bottom of this book does not look pretty, but that's okay because no one will ever see it. Now, I apologize, my camera moved here and I did not realize it, but basically all I'm doing is just taking a black ribbon and I am going to glue it to that felt. And I did this because I did not like where the felt met the black fabric, so I just wanted something to kind of hide that. I don't know, this part probably was not necessary, but I just thought that it would make it look a little neater, and also it just added some texture and made it look a little more high-end too. So after both of my books were covered, I am left with this really fun book stack that I can use in my bedroom. Here is the stack from Kirkland's, $34.99, and we created ours for about $5. And I think these will make great layering pieces. This next dupe is one of my other favorites, and this was so easy but fun to do. So what you're going to do is take the LED candles from the Dollar Tree, and then you're just going to take a knife and just start putting little cuts into it. We are going to make some birchwood candles. So I did this on 2 of them. Now the one on the Pottery Barn website actually was a set of 3, but this is all I had in my stash, so this is what I did. So now I'm just going to simply dry brush some chocolate bar apple barrel paint all over my candles. And you don't have to get full coverage. This does not have to, look good or anything, because what we're going to do is actually take a wipe and we are going to lightly wipe this off. The purpose of this coat right here is to get into all of those little slits that you made with your knife. So if anything, you just want to make sure that those slits become darker by using the paint. So I just did this on both of the candles. So next I'm going to take that territorial beige that we used before, and I am just basically dry brushing this all over my candle, and this is what's going to give it more of the birchwood color. So I am lightly taking a baby wipe and wiping it off, but I don't want to wipe all of it off. I'm just kind of blending it in. And I'm going to do this with both of these candles. I'm just kind of dry brushing and wiping as I go. You know how they say the devil is in the details? Well, this is going to bring it to life. What I did was take some of that chocolate bar paint and dipped the tip of my paintbrush in the paint, and then I am just dabbing it in random spots all over both of my candles, and that's gonna give it like that wood type of look. And look at that. I feel like by doing this, it completed the look of the birchwood candle. And I think I only did like 3 little sections on each. Some of them I did a little darker, some of them I did a little lighter. So it's really up to, you know, what you like and what you think looks good. But I love how these came out, and we're not done yet. Next, I'm going to take my Mod Podge, I'm going to paint some of that on, and I am going to sprinkle some of that really pretty glitter all over each of my candles. So what I did was I basically covered like half of the candle in Mod Podge, did the glitter, turned it around, covered the other half in Mod Podge, and then covered it with glitter. And look how pretty that is. Wait till you see them lit up at the very end. But I just think that this brought it all together, and it really does look like the original piece from Pottery Barn, which you're going to see here in just a minute. Now again, you could stop right at the birchwood. You don't have to even mess with the glitter or anything, but in my opinion, I think that that's what makes it so pretty. Look how gorgeous. This makes me want to go get a third one from the Dollar Tree so I can make another. So here are the Pottery Barn candles, and they are called Sugared Birch, and I think those are gorgeous too. But I think I came pretty close. For this next dupe, you are going to need a ring, and you're going to want to spray paint it or paint it white. I did not get footage of that, I'm so sorry. Next, you're going to take 3 of these white trees from the Dollar Tree, and you're going to take some wire cutters and just start cutting off each of these branches. Now, I did not wrap my branches all the way around my wreath ring, so you will need more trees than just 3, but I thought that it looked good with what I had. So once my ring was dry, I'm going to start in the middle, like the inner ring, and I'm going to hot glue my branches on the inside of the ring, and I'm going to go all the way around. Then I kind of going in, now you do want to stick to one direction, but you're going to poke in the branches going all the way around the ring on the front. I hope that makes sense. So you don't have to go around like front to back, but just so it's nice and full in the front. Now, some of the pieces I did use hot glue to secure it a little better, but these branches do have wires, so you can poke them in. And as you can see, I am just poking them in, and I did layer by layer. So I did one ring around, and then I did another ring around, and basically I am just making sure that this ring of, you know, this wreath, I guess we're making, ends up really full. Now, if you can find a white or green, whatever you want, if you can do this with an actual wreath that you have already, but I just thought that I would show you how you can make it out of Dollar Tree supplies, and it really was inexpensive too. So it's not like I, you know, could have bought this for any cheaper. So I'm just going to go through and fill in any holes, but basically I'm going to do this until I get a nice full wreath. Now I'm going to get this sign, and you can get any of these like wooden blocks, or if you just have scrap wood, whatever you have. We just need a base, because this is actually going to be a tabletop wreath, which is what they have on the Kirkland's website. So I went ahead and got that sticker off. Then I'm going to take a dowel. I just broke it in half. You can use your miter shears to do that, but I just went ahead and broke it in half, and then I just took my scissors to clean up the tops. They don't need to be really long for what we're doing. After that, I took some hot glue and I am going to douse the bottom of this because I need these sticks to stand up on their own. So I did end up holding these in place until all of the glue set up. So I did hold these up for several minutes, and then even after, I went through and added more hot glue. After that, I took some white Waverly chalk paint and I'm just going to paint this entire thing. I'm going to do the top, the dowels, the sides. I'm going to do everything except for the actual bottom of the base. Now I'm going to take my wreath, and as you see, I did not cover the entire thing, so if you do want to cover it, as I stated before, you're going to need more than the 3 trees. I just used what I had. So now you're just going to simply poke your dowels into your wreath, and now that makes it a tabletop wreath. Now I did go through and reinforce it by adding some hot glue to the dowels, but look how cute this is. Here's the one on the Kirkland's website, $49.99. Now, you know I'd love to spray glitter this. I just didn't have any spray glitter. But for now, this is mine. Okay, so this next one is actually one from a couple years ago, but I saw it still on the Pottery Barn website, so I thought I'd include it. I'm going to use this $3 nativity set that I got from Dollar General. Now, this one was my favorite one to do. This one was so much fun. So basically, I'm taking out all of my pieces, and then I'm going to take that steel chalk paint from Waverly and I'm going to paint all of the little figures. Now, when I pulled these out, they were a little rough around the edges, so I am taking my nail file and I'm just sanding them down a bit so that way it makes it nice and smooth. So the only pieces that I'm going to be painting with that steel color are Mary, Joseph, the sheep, the camel, and the 3 wise men, and I think that there is a shepherd boy there. So just basically the little figures, but I'm going to leave the little stable natural. Now, as you can see, I kind of had to make a line at the bottom where I'm going to separate the figures from the stable. But the first step was just to paint each one of these with that steel chalk paint from Waverly. So once those were all painted, I'm going to do the same technique I did to the pizza pan, and we're going to faux galvanize these. However, it's not going to be as dark, so I'm only going to use the white and the metallic gray. So I'm going to go through and I'm just going to dab, dab, dab that white all over it, each one of those little gray pieces, and then I'm going to go over it again with that steel paint to kind of mute down and kind of bring it all together. Okay, so now I'm going to go through and I'm going to add that metallic paint to give it that little shiny look. You're going to see that I do add more because I kind of wanted it to look a little bit more shiny. But for now, this will work. Now, I'm not doing the edges of this because I thought that the natural wood around the edges looked really cool. Alright, so I put all my pieces aside, and now I'm going to take these jumbo craft sticks from Walmart, and I'm basically going to figure out how many I need to cover the back of this little stable or nativity scene. So I did end up using 5, so I'm laying them out. And then I'm going to trace on the outside of my nativity scene. Now I'm only going to line up the top to the bottom so you can see that there's little shapes, cutouts at the top. I'm going to make sure that it starts at the bottom of that and goes down. And then I'm just going to use my scissors and cut where I made my marks. This wood is so soft that it was easy for me just to use regular scissors, but I do have a pair of scissors that I use just for cutting wood. For some reason, my miter shears will not work on these dowels. I don't know why. Or, I'm sorry, not the dowels, the craft sticks. They do work on dowels, but we're not using any right now, but they just won't work on these craft sticks, but these scissors were good enough. So now I have them all cut down, so now I'm lining them back up just to make sure that the positioning and sizing is correct. And it is. So now it's time to paint. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to faux stain 2 of them. And it doesn't matter the order you do this in. This is just what I did. So I'm going to faux stain the top one. And I'm going to do this by dipping my baby wipe in my Waverly Antique Wax and rubbing it across. And then I'm laying them back out again to see which other one I want to faux stain. So I'm going to do the 4th one down. And again, I'm just going to use my baby wipe and Waverly Antique Wax. Then I'm going to paint 2 of them with ivory chalk paint from Waverly. And then I'm going to paint the last one with my elephant chalk paint from Waverly. Once these were dry, I'm going to make them look distressed. So for the ivory ones, I'm going to dip my little chunky brush in my Waverly Antique Wax, and I'm going to dry brush over those ones. And then for the stained ones and the elephant gray, I'm going to use my white chalk paint to distress those ones. Then I'm going to go through and I'm going to sand each one of these. Now, they kind of took a lot of the distressing, like, see, they took a lot of the paint off, the distressing paint off. So I am going to go back and I'm going to distress or dry brush over each one of these one more time. And basically, I'm just dry brushing and sanding until I get the look that I'm going for. Once these were all complete, I'm going to line them back up and then turn them upside down. And then I'm just going to use the little scrap pieces of wood that I had cut off of these sticks. And I'm going to use those to hot glue the sticks all together on the back. Now, I did not intend for there to be gaps in between these craft sticks. I just think I didn't realize that there was at the time. But it's totally up to you if you want to put a gap in between the sticks or put them right next to each other. Then I flipped my piece back over, and now I'm going to hot glue the nativity piece on top of what I just created. Now, there was a little overhang on the top and the sides and the bottom, so I am just going to take my regular scissors and I'm going to cut that off. Now, actually, in the Pottery Barn piece, you can actually see the overhang, but I didn't like that, so on mine, I chose to cut it off. And then I did sand it down so it was nice and smooth. Then I'm going to take another one of these gold stars and I'm going to paint it with that steel chalk paint. Then again, I'm just going to dab it with some white paint to give it that faux galvanized look. Then I'm going to take that star and I'm going to hot glue it in the middle of that other star that's already there. And then, now I just cut the bottom of that, so that's why I was sanding it. But now it's time to put this together. So that base actually came with the set. So I'm going to hot glue the nativity to the back of the base. And I am hot gluing it in that slot, except for it doesn't fit now because I added another layer of wood. So I'm just doing my best to hot glue it so it stays up, and it did. It went pretty good. And now I'm just kind of laying out all my pieces and figuring out where I want them to go. So I put the 3 wise men on the right side, and you're going to see that I do it in different levels, different sections, so it looks all 3D. Then once I figure out where I want to hot glue them, I'm just going to use my hot glue and hot glue each of them down. And then here is where I decided to go ahead and add even more metallic silver paint. I just really wanted these to be really shiny and to pop off the background. But after that second layer, or third layer actually, of metallic paint was on, this DIY was complete. And like I said, I absolutely loved how this came out. This could also be another one where you can stick some lights in and make it light up. So here is the Pottery Barn version, $69. It doesn't look exactly the same, but hey, I thought I got it pretty darn close. What do you think? I am absolutely loving how all of my dupes came out today. I think I got them pretty darn close, and the fun part is you can customize them to whatever fabric you like for the books, or if you want to do a gold wreath or a silver wreath or an actual green wreath, maybe with some snowy flocking on it. It is totally up to you. You're gonna have to let me know down in the comments which one of these dupes was your favorite today. You already know mine. I love that gingerbread tree and these candles, although that nativity, oh, it's gorgeous. My mom actually has it at her house. She puts it out every year. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and turn on those notifications so you can be notified when I upload more fun content coming soon. Don't forget to check out my other channel so you can see me decorate my house for Christmas. These next set of DIYs are part of my vintage craft video that I did last year because I decided I was going to go with a vintage theme in my dining room. If you hang on till the end, you'll get to see how it all came out. All right, let's jump in to these vintage DIYs. Okay, so we are going to start off these DIYs super easy. I picked up this bottle brush tree last year after Christmas, and I believe it was like 90% off, so I probably got it for like 30 cents. So I did feel like I needed to give it a snowy look, so I just took some white paint and this little sponge, and I'm just going to dab all over this tree. Now, in some areas, I did go a little thicker just to give it that just kind of piled snow effect. But after that, I took this package of little ornaments from Hobby Lobby, and then these are the same but a little bit bigger. And what we're going to do is we are simply just going to hot glue these ornaments into this bottle brush tree. Now, when I think vintage and when I was Pinteresting ideas and trying to get inspiration, this DIY popped up numerous times. So I loved it, and it's so easy to make. Now, all of the supplies at Hobby Lobby are 50% off, so this really wasn't even that expensive to make either. But I'm just going to kind of alternate and mix up the colors and the sizes, and I'm going to put a bunch of these ornaments all around my tree. For the base of my tree, look at this super cute coffee mug from Hobby Lobby. We are going to go ahead and glue the tree on that. Now, you can't tell, but the tree is on a base, and I'm just going to use some floral foam to stick in there to prop up this tree, and I'm just kind of cutting it down and just making it fit how I want. And then once I figure out the right size of the floral foam, I am going to go ahead and hot glue the base on top of the foam, and then I did off camera hot glue the foam to the bottom of the cup. That way it wasn't moving around. But that was it to this DIY. It was so easy, and I think it's so nostalgic and so cute. All right, next we are going to grab a book. I got this one from the Dollar Tree, but you can get them from the thrift store or one that you have on hand. And then I'm going to grab this pack of scrapbook paper from Hobby Lobby, and I've had this for a while. I'm going to choose a piece of scrapbook paper that I like, and I'm sorry I forgot to show it, but you'll get to see what it looks like in just 1 minute. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to line it up to the corner and the bottom of the scrapbook paper, and then I'm going to fold it up because I do want it to cover the binding. So I am just folding it over to see how much I would have to cut to make sure that it covers it. Then I'm just going to cut it down. Look at that paper. Is that not perfect for a vintage dining room theme? All right, next I am just making sure that this is going to fit. Don't mind that. I had different paper on it and then changed my mind. So you're seeing the after effects of that. But now I'm going to take that paper and I'm going to cut off the top, and because I want this paper to fit perfectly on this book. Next, I'm going to take a nice coat of Mod Podge, and I am going to adhere this piece of paper down to the top of my book. Now, you definitely want to make sure that you pay attention to the corners and get a lot of Mod Podge on there, and then I'm also going to glue down the binding.
It's cold outside, but the fire keeps us warm. We can spend the night underneath the mistletoe. And I've gotten you a present that I put under the tree. Tomorrow it is Christmas.
Now, because there might have been some paper hanging over, I went ahead and took my sanding block and just sanded it down, and that way I got that excess paper off. But not only that, but it kind of messed up the edges a little bit. It sanded some of the paper off, so it made it look old and antique. So now I'm going to take another piece of scrapbook paper and I'm going to cut it down so it fits right in the middle of the book. Now I'm going to take Mod Podge again and I'm going to adhere it to the middle of the book. And I'm going to try to make it as straight as possible, but if you know me, you know that's not always the case. In fact, I can tell right now it's not even straight. All right, then I did take my Mod Podge and go around the edges just to make sure it was glued down. Now I'm going to take a postcard from that pack from Temu, and I am going to rip off the edges. Now, you can see that I'm actually ripping going back, like to the back, but you actually want to rip coming forward, if that makes sense. And the reason why is because I wanted the white paper to show. So you can see the difference between the top that I just ripped off, and it's a nice clean edge there with no white paper. And then watch as I start ripping it to the front. Now it exposes all of that white paper underneath. So I just did this going all the way around. Now this is definitely sped up, but I took my time because you don't want to rip off too much. Next, I'm again going to take my Mod Podge and I'm going to glue this to the middle of that second piece of paper. Now, when I was kind of questioning my parents and grandparents of their childhood and what they remember about Christmases and vintage and nostalgic, it was tinsel. Tinsel, tinsel, tinsel. So you're going to see a lot of that and a lot of these kind of tinsely pipe cleaners used in this video, just like right now. So what I'm going to do is hot glue a red pipe cleaner all the way around the green piece of paper here. And it did take 2 to hot glue it down, but you can't even tell where one stops and one starts. And then I went ahead and cut it down. And that was it to this book. Now I have a cute little display piece that I can prop up. Next, we're going to use those acrylic ornaments that Temu sent me, and we're going to use some of these wooden ornaments from Temu. So now I'm going to take, oh yeah, and the scrapbook paper. So this is a big Temu DIY. All right, so I picked out this scrapbook paper because it didn't have a lot going on. And what I'm going to do is trace the ornament around on the scrapbook paper. And then, of course, I'm going to cut it out and use a fair amount of Mod Podge to glue it on to my ornament.
The first for you and me. The snow is falling down and the storm is on its way. But as long as you're around, everything will be okay. 'Cause all I wanna do is...
After making sure my scrapbook paper was pressed down firmly, I took that sanding block again and sanded off any of the excess paper hanging over. Next, I'm going to take that wooden little ornament and I am going to hot glue it to the middle of my plastic ornament or acrylic ornament. Now, we are going to make a couple different ornaments like this today in these DIYs, but you can make a whole set for a whole tree. I'm just going to use these in my dining room just to kind of sprinkle them around, but also I have a different idea for these as well. So stay tuned for that for my next video, which is decorating my dining room for Christmas in that vintage theme. All right, next I'm going to again take one of those tinsely pipe cleaners and I am just going to hot glue it going all the way around my ornament on the front. And then I take a second one and hot glue it going all the way around on the side. I just felt like it looked better doubled up, and which you're going to see here in just a minute. These DIYs, the vintage look may not be for everyone, and that's okay, but I just wanted to try this theme in my dining room, but I didn't want to spend a ton of money with all new decor, so I thought that making some would be helpful.
Spend this holiday with you. Tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for me and you. I've longed for this moment.
For the hanger, I'm going to use a pipe cleaner that I actually cut in half, and I'm just going to string it through the little loop there, the hole, and then I'm just going to twist it, and then I do turn it so the twisted part is at the bottom. Now, I actually had some of these little bows left over from DIYs in years past. I have not seen these bows in the Dollar Tree, or maybe they're there and I just kind of missed them, but I'm going to use one of these to hot glue to the top, and that finished this little ornament. Now, off camera, I did make this little ornament to the left. It was not supposed to be off camera. I forgot to hit record. And now I'm going to show you another kind of style. So I just did the same thing. I did the scrapbook paper. And for this one, I actually put the pipe cleaner down first. So then that way I can put my wooden ornament on top. And then again, I'm just going to go in with a half of a pipe cleaner and make a hanger. Then I thought it would be cute because there's bells on that little ornament to put a bell on this ornament right here. So I just took a smaller piece of pipe cleaner and I looped the bell through, and then I moved it towards the back, twisted it, and there we go. Now we have another little vintage ornament.
Tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for me and you. I longed for this moment to have you for myself in a cabin.
So for my next ornament, I'm actually going to be using that paper that I used in the last DIY, and I just want Santa's face. So I'm going to go ahead and cut around it. And then again, I'm just going to use Mod Podge to glue it to the ornament. And then I'm going to frame it out with a pipe cleaner and add a pipe cleaner hanger. That's how easy it is to make these, and really the possibilities are endless. I noticed when going through Pinterest, there really was no rhyme or reason to any of their decor. It was just kind of like a lot of just a mix of different things and items and decorations just kind of thrown into make like a bigger decoration. So there really was like no rhyme or reason to any of it. So you could really get creative with all of these vintage projects.
Out of nowhere, just us and no one else. I've decorated everything till we're perfect for this week. Tomorrow it is Christmas.
So after my hanger was on, that completed my set of ornaments. For the next DIY, I'm going to use this chalkboard stand that I got from the Dollar Tree within the last couple of years. Now, I did go ahead and apply some painter's tape to the inside because I do want that to remain black. And I'm just going to take some red paint and I'm going to paint this entire thing, the front, the sides, and the wooden base. Next, I'm going to remove the painter's tape, and I left this on here because it's satisfying for some people. Then I'm going to grab another one of those postcards from Temu, and I am going to cut it down so it fit inside of this little frame. Now, it just barely fits on the sides. It's not quite big enough, but that's why I wanted to leave the background black. And in a minute, it's not going to matter because, again, we're going to go in with more pipe cleaner, and we are going to frame the inside. Now, originally, I started putting the pipe cleaner, or started off putting the pipe cleaner on the inside of the actual frame, and then I just felt like it needed more, so I added another pipe cleaner on top of that to actually go on top of the frame, if that makes sense.
Just and no one else. I've decorated everything till we're perfect for this week. Tomorrow it is Christmas, the first for you and me.
So here it is all framed out. Now this next part is optional, but I decided to go in with some Mod Podge and some red glitter, and we are going to make this piece sparkle. So I just went ahead and applied it around the frame on the other side of the gold tinsel pipe cleaner, and it was really easy. You just apply the Mod Podge, sprinkle on your glitter, and then kind of tap off the excess. And I went all the way around my frame. Now, for this project, I had in my mind I was going to use a bunch of little things to kind of build up the front, but to be honest with you, I didn't really want to in the end because I didn't want to take away from that really cute postcard. And there's two little girls in that, and it just reminds me of my little girls, so I wanted that to be the focus. I did, however, take one of these wooden gingerbread ornaments, again from Temu, and I just decided to hot glue it to the front of the frame because they are making a little gingerbread house, I think. I can't really tell in this picture, and that's it. That completed that little DIY. This last DIY is about to get real tinsely. So I'm starting off with this wreath from the Dollar Tree. We're going to use that as a base, but of course we are going to add this tinsel garland. Now what I did was I kind of flattened out each of the sides of the that green wreath. That way it exposed the wire frame in the middle, and I am just simply going to hot glue this garland all the way around. Until it gets to the bow. Now, at first I did leave the bow on there, but in a little bit you are going to see me remove the bow, although that bow does remind me of like kind of old school Christmas, like the 90s, so I really want to find a use for it, but I had to take it off to make room for that Santa ornament from the Dollar Tree. How cute is that? So I'm just going to remove everything else on this wreath because now that's where I am going to hot glue my Santa ornament. So I just put a generous amount of hot glue, and I'm going to have Santa sitting on the side of the ornament, of the wreath, sorry, and I am going to apply some hot glue to the hat and to the beard to help reinforce it. Next, to make it even more vintage, I am going to go in with these gold ornaments, and I am just going to hot glue them all the way around my wreath. Now, I did need to make 2 of these wreaths, so I couldn't use all of these gold bobs. This is all I had. So when I go to the Dollar Tree next, I might pick up another package of either the silver ornaments or the green. That way I can add even more to it, because I think in this DIY, the more bulbs, the better, in my opinion. So just to kind of fill in those extra spots, I did go in with the bigger size of the smaller ornaments and alternated between silver and green. And that's it. That completes my wreath and these DIYs. What do you think?
Merry Christmas, baby. Reindeer's coming out to play. Santa Claus is packing the presents, making sure you've been behaving okay. Merry Christmas, honey. Yeah. The snowman's dusting off his hat, on the show for everybody, to give them a smile that lasts another year. There's something that happens when sleigh bells are ringing, when December ends, when the children are singing, yeah. It's Merry Christmas, baby. Merry Christmas, baby. The snow is laying 2 feet deep. Now wish upon a falling star, so all your secret dreams can come true. There's something that happens when sleigh bells are ringing, when December ends, when the children are singing, yeah. It's Merry Christmas, baby. Ooh, yeah. There's room at the table for big and for small. All the fire is popping, the chestnuts are cracking, yeah. Merry Christmas, baby. There's something that happens when something that happens when December ends, when December ends, yeah. Oh, it's Merry Christmas, baby. Merry Christmas, baby. It's Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. It's Merry Christmas, baby. Yeah. It's Merry Christmas, baby. Christmas, a time for miracles, wishing to find a remedy, hoping for better days to come. Memories of flickering shadows, cold nights, hearing the wind blows the snowflakes, reminds me of something gone.
If you loved what you saw today, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. And until I see you again, I'll craft with you soon. Bye!